Welcome to my channel. I'm Lee Johnson and I talk about magic and witchcraft. So today I want to talk about a little practice that kind of developed out of the yogic practice of Trataka. But before I get into that, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification, like, share, comment, all of that stuff. And if you'd like to support my channel, you can click the join button for a very, very small fee each month. And that definitely helps me to grow and develop this channel a bit more as well. So the practice itself, let's start with the actual yogic practice. So Trataka is as I said, a yogic practice. It comes from the Sanskrit word tratuk, which means to look or to gaze. Now, there's a lot of benefits from this practice itself. It's actually a meditation practice. And, you know, depending on whether you're using it for specifically a meditation practice to actually develop the third eye. It actually stimulates the third eye, increases psychic abilities and things like that. So you can use it quite intensively. Or if you come across Swami Ramdev, he actually mentions just doing it as more of a simple practice. And the benefits that he actually speaks of, Swami Ramdev, for doing this practice, it relieves mental stress, relieves headaches, migraines, helps with insomnia or sleeping difficulties, freedom from negative thoughts, increase concentration, reduce anger, sharpens eyesight, and increases brain functionality. And what Swami Ramdev recommends is just gazing at the object. We'll get into that just now. Gazing at the object until you get to the point where you need to start blinking, and then you just close your eyes. And that's it. That's the end of the practice. If you are doing it for a more intense practice, then what you would do is you would be gazing and not blinking. So you actually force yourself not to blink. And this develops the eye muscles. But there's also a theory that the act of, or the forcing of not, or the act of not blinking, you know, forcing yourself not to blink, actually stimulates the pineal gland, and which is why people suggest that it's a good meditation practice to actually develop the sight, to enhance the third eye, create psychic abilities, etc. And obviously, besides that, it also can be used to quiet the mind, still the mind, and bring clarity. So the practice itself is, as I say, it's extremely beneficial. If you really, really want to find more about this, then go and have a look for Yogi Anand G. Anand is A-N-A-N-D, G is J-I. You'll find him and his books. They are free to download on a website called kundalinimeditation.in. And you can go to the book section, download the book on Trataka, and he really goes into the whole practice extensively. But the basics to it, you take an object, a symbol or something. It's quite often for beginners they suggest using a candle flame, and I'm going to get into the candle flame practice just now. I wouldn't suggest using a candle flame for beginners. I would actually suggest using a dot on the wall. A lot of people say a black dot. As far as I remember, Yogi Anand Ji actually suggests using a blue dot. And you'll find that a blue dot, sort of, as you practice more and more, the colours start to change and they start to morph and everything else. So you place this object at eye level, wherever you're sitting, however you're sitting, but it must be an eye level. So you're looking at it straight on and about 2 meters away. You can bring it to about 2 feet from your face, but 2 meters is actually a good distance. And then all you do is you just gaze. You just look at this object. Now, when I say objects, as I said, you can use candle flame, you can use a dot, but you can use a tree, moon, stars. You can use the Om symbol. You can use a sigil. So this would actually probably also be a good practice for sigil magic. So you can gaze at the sigil, let it morph, let the colours change, all that type of stuff, and then activate the sigil. But the practice itself, if you do the practice, it will actually enhance that the effects, the progress, the activation of the actual sigil. So what you do is you gaze at this object, this thing that's at eye level, and you do not blink. You force yourself not to blink. You'll probably find, if you can actually do it, it is actually very difficult, but if you do it daily, you can actually, you get better and better at it. But you don't blink, and your eyes will become sore, you will have tears running down your face. And then when you've had enough, just close your eyes, wash your eyes with water, and then just keep them closed for the same period of time that you left them open. And then you can do it again. You can start again. But there is the whole thing of forcing yourself not to blink. And you might find that your eyes will start shifting. That's usually the eye muscles are weak. So if the more you practice, the stronger your eye muscles become, and you're able to actually gaze and stare at this object for longer periods of time as you keep practicing. Now, there's a lot of practices that this becomes useful for. Scrying is one of them. Doing any kind of mirror work, really. If you use mirrors for portals, things like that, and you can actually gaze and not blink, then it becomes very useful. Now, the practice I actually want to speak about today is the practice that came out of this yogic practice itself. What I found was, if I'm gazing at a candle flame, and you don't need to do it for long, a lot of people will actually give you warnings with this. If you actually do suffer from eye problems, you might want to actually avoid this. If you suffer from any medical condition that could be triggered by doing this practice, then obviously stay away from it, obviously. But a lot of people will say that if you stare at a candle flame, especially if it's too close, then you can end up burning your retinas. So you don't need to stare at it too long. It can be 2 or 3 minutes. That's all you really need. But what you do is you have your candle flame at eye level and about 2 feet away from you. And all you do is just stare right into the candle flame. And do that for, as I said, about 2 or 3 minutes, and then close your eyes. And what you'll see is the impression of the candle flame behind your closed eyes. And all you do is you just focus on that impression. And you'll probably see it as the same shape as the candle flame. It looks a bit like a yoni. So you stare at this candle flame, and everybody's a bit different. I see a pure white shape. Some people might see yellow, some people might even see red. But at the beginning, when you're doing this, you'll find that you'll stare at it, and then it'll just start fading away. And you can actually keep pulling the image back into your, or the impression back into your sight. And you just keep gazing at this image the whole time. You just hold it there and keep it there. And what you'll find is with practice, what you'll find is it'll actually start changing and morphing. And what usually happens for me is that it'll go from a pure white shape, and it'll change into black, completely black, to totally void. And around that is an emanation of light, white light. It looks a bit like an eclipse, actually, when the moon moves over the sun and you get that halo. That's what it's called, a halo. So I usually see this yoni-shaped black void with this bright light that's haloing around it. And it's just, you can use this for a lot of different practices. You can just use it purely as a meditation, just to keep focus on something and quiet the mind, still the mind. You can also use it for scrying. So once you've got that image, that impression, and you're gazing at it, use that for scrying instead of a mirror or a crystal ball or a bowl of water. Just gaze at that impression and then see what comes out of it. As I said, over time with practice, you can hold this image longer and longer and longer. And I think that's usually when it starts to morph and change into different colors, or it might change into a different shape. You can play around with it and see what happens for you. I'd actually love to hear from anybody who tries this and practices this. I'd love to hear what experiences you've had, and also what you're actually using it for, whether it is just purely meditation, just holding something in focus. I mean, this itself can increase your concentration like tenfold. Or whether you're using it for divination or some other method. I mean, some of the methods you could use it for is actually working in an astral temple. As you're gazing at the impression, you allow yourself to slip further into yourself, into a trance state, and then let it dissolve, let it disappear, go into this void space, into this total blackness, and then let the scenery of the astral actually awaken and come forward. A lot of work, when I do ascension work with the demonic, I usually do the astral temple work, step through my door, and into a completely void, dark space, and it's almost like a veil kind of unfolds or gets moved back, and the whole scene of the demonic realm just is there. You know, it kind of sweeps past, removes this void space, and then the demonic plane is in front of me, and I can move around in it. So you can have a go at working using this candle gazing method to actually get there as well, and to use it for that. I have a serious frog in my throat today. I don't know what's going on. Might be the weather. It's a bit overcast and gloomy today. So, all right. So I think that's it for today. It's just as I said, it's a method that developed out of the yogic practice, and I find it extremely useful. So I thought I'd just bring it up, mention it, and see if anybody else wants to actually put it to use. And if you do, as I said, just let me know your experiences and what happened. I would love to know. And that's it for today. So if you'd like to join us on the Black Hat Chat on Friday at 4 p.m. GMT, it's a mystery topic this week, so I'm not telling you what it is. I'm going to surprise everybody. Well, probably not, because we'll send out the thumbnail and the announcements before Friday, but you know, anyway. But yeah, if you want to join us on Friday in the live chat, you can ask your questions, you can say hello, whatever you want to do. Then 4 p.m. GMT, you can find us on this channel, my channel, on Kai's channel, or on Twitch. We stream on all three at the same time. All the links are in the description below if you would like to go and check that out. And you'll also find links to our Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, where you can go support us, support the Black Hat Chat. You can also join the Wildwood Temple. It's on Facebook, it's a Facebook group, or you can join us on Discord. We have a Discord server that's quite extensive. So let's bring today to an end, and I'll see you next week. Hope you have a brilliant week. Cheers for now.